I'm going to read through our analyzing argument assignment. So most arguments don't provoke an analytical response at first. We react emotionally. This guy is so full of it, or perhaps it's about time someone spoke up about the cost of freedom. The letter below, like many that raise controversial issues, triggers a whole set of deeply held beliefs about things such as patriotism, freedom of speech, and the purpose of art. These are things that should provoke discussion and that inevitably trigger feelings. But without involving the head as well as the heart, it's impossible to have a civil discussion, one that will lead to new understanding. We need to understand not only what we ourselves believe, but also what the other guy believes. Carl Rogers was a therapist and one of the most famous experts on argument theory. Not surprisingly, he thought that when people feel really strongly about something, reason just doesn't work well. Instead, he believed a prerequisite to entering into an argument with someone else about a value-laden topic is first to listen and then say back what you understand him or her to be saying. Let's do that with the letter to follow. So you will actually read through this letter then on your own, the Dear Editor letter from Deeply Offended American. And then after you read through that letter, then you will follow these steps below. So step 1. Now you can write this in or type this up in a new document, or you can type it right into this document that is labeled Analyzing Argument. So step 1, summarize what you understand to be the letter writer's basic argument. What claim is he making, and what seem to be the implied reasons behind it. You might use this as a template for your summary. So you could say, because of blank and blank, the letter writer argues that blank. Or you can just use your own and then just state what the claim that he is making and what is the reason behind it. Then with step 2, now fast write for a few minutes, exploring your own take on the validity of the claim and the reasons. So what you see his reasoning to be, the claim that he's making, how valid is that? Okay, so basically write for a few minutes on the validity of that claim and the reasons. Then step 3, finally write a brief analysis of the argument that includes the following. Begin with your understanding of the letter writer's argument and something about the circumstances that might lead someone to make such claims. Analyze the soundness of the reasons behind the argument. So do you agree or disagree with them? Is there a different way of thinking about them? Referring to Aristotle's rhetorical triangle that we looked at, do you think there's an equal balance of ethos, pathos, and logos? Or is there too much of one or the other? So maybe there's too much ethos and too much logos and not enough pathos. What are you seeing here? Do you see a nice balance, or do you see an unequal parts? And then lastly, do you see any common logical fallacies in this argument? So of the list of common logical fallacies, the 10 that we looked at, which ones do you see? If so, what specific fallacies do you actually see? So jot those down. And then once you complete that, then you'll submit that to the Analyzing Argument section. So that is your assignment.